rich with peace and prosperity. The king had a horse who was fondly called Badal, which was as white as snow. He had a training every day so that he could be the best horse during the war. He could run like a flash. Badal had helped the king in many wars. Nowadays, the wars had come down. Hence, the king decided to go back to his farm and lead a simple life with his farm animals. Badal also joined the king's farm and was treated like a pet. Badal's training was stopped. He became weak and was not ready to face any wars. Neither the king nor the caretaker noticed this change in Badal. One day, the king came to know that one of the neighboring kingdom had attacked his kingdom. He took Badal to the war, but his curse had gone on, and he could not run fast and hurt the king in the war. The enemy killed him and snatched the kingdom. The king and Badal had stopped their trainings, and this led for the loss of the kingdom. What I learned from this story is that practice skilling and reskilling is important to succeed in life. Let us move to the third story. The intelligent merchant. Characters in this story. Merchant and his two daughters named Vani and Sushila line. Once upon a time, there was a merchant. He had two daughters named Vani and Sushila. One day they were going to their neighboring village. They had to pass through a dense forest. The forest had wonderful deers, large elephants, and naughty monkeys on the trees. The daughters were enjoying that. Suddenly, a lion appeared in front of them. The daughters started screaming and hugged their father. The merchant was mad and asked the lion to eat one of them. The daughters were worried listening to their father. The merchant continued and said, "While you start eating us, you have to tear our flesh. It will be very painful as you have very sharp teeth." The merchant requested the lion to blend its claws so it does not pain. The lion was confused and trimmed its claws. Then the lion comes back ready to pounce on one of them. Then the merchant said, "Wait, you have got your claws trimmed, but you have sharp teeth. Can you please get them blend before you eat one of us?" The lion was again confused and got his teeth blend. Then the lion comes back ready to pounce on one of them. Then the merchant said, "How it will eat its meal with trimmed claws and blend teeth? It will not be able to eat them." So he asked the lion to wait till its claws and teeth get ready to eat its meal. The merchant and his two daughters continued their journey. Both daughters were happy and proud of their father's intelligence and presence of mind. What I learned from this story is that presence of mind can save us from danger. Let us move to the fourth story. The merchant's treasure. Once upon characters in the story. Ramu, Soma and the village head. Once upon a time, there was a king. There were two neighbors, Ramu and Somu. Ramu was a rich merchant and Somu was a poor farmer. Somu did not have much wealth, but he lived in peace. Thank you.
This is Lakshita of grade 7B. I'm gonna review the book Success Secrets written by Meryl Douglas. Excellence is never achieved in one giant step, but emerges one small step at a time. With this beautiful statement, I would like to start my review. Before going into the book, let us know a little about the author. Meryl Douglas was born on 15th March 1939. He is an American technologist. He is also the CEO of Zest Finance until 2019. The pages in this book are his best columns, which was selected by the editorial staff of Crystal Management Report. So now let's get into the book. This book contains 117 chapters. Each chapter consists of 2 pages. This book was published in 1997 by Honor Books. Among these 117 chapters, I am going to tell about some important chapters. The first first chapter is how CEOs spend their time. According to a recent study, CEOs work 10 to 12 hours daily. They also start their day usually like 6:30 a.m. Then how do they manage their time? When we asked about it, one CEO stated there is always more work to do than there is time to do it. I am adjusting my priorities to accomplish what is more important and delegate the areas that are less important. So, delegation, planning, setting priorities, staying away from trivial work, and setting tight agendas are good time management skills which will help you get more done. CEOs develop these skills long before they become CEOs. The next chapter is what success means. When we hear this chapter, we feel like, what is this chapter going to be? So, personal selling power, the sales and marketing newsletter, they conducted a survey among some executives. They asked the executives what success means to them. So, their responses was categorized or grouped into 4 groups. The first group said success was achieving or owning material possessions, for example, like cars. And the second group said success was experiencing particular feelings. That is when we do something. For example, if I am doing this event, if I put my full effort and do it best, then I used to feel satisfied and happy. So the second group told like success was achieving particular feelings. The third group told success was achieving goals. And the fourth group said success was related to their personal life mission. So when we think about all these groups, material possessions, it does not satisfy us for long. Feelings are nebulous and even goals can become meaningless after a while. But the people in group 4 seem to have a deeper foundation because possessions, feelings and goals take on new meaning when it is measured by a life mission. So, defining success is the first step in achieving it. If you want to be successful, first define what success means to you. The next chapter is what to do with your life. In this chapter, Dr. Peel's advice is great. He tells it is all about considering what, where and when. When we hear this, we feel like these are very simple questioning words. But when we relate it with our life and when we try to answer, these are very powerful questions which are also tough to answer. Taking the time to clarify when, where and what is a good exercise for anyone. The next chapter is being polite costs nothing. So in this chapter, the author tells about his real life event and tells that being polite costs nothing, but it pays great dividends. The next chapter is a good attitude makes a good job. If you cannot find the job that you like, then concentrate on what you like on the job you have. Your attitude flavors the way you look at your job. Attitude is very, very important. A good attitude can make a good job. A poor attitude can make even the best job sour. So attitude is very, very important. Every job has excitement involved. Whether you find that excitement or not depends on your attitude. Your job might be wonderful or miserable. The difference is up to you and your attitude. So the next chapter is positive words create positive people. What you believe is what you keep repeating to yourself. Changing what you say to yourself can help you become a better person. To change yourself, try using positive affirmations. So what is positive affirmations? Positive affirmations are simply positive statements which tell what kind of person you are or what kind of person you wish to be. I recommend use positive affirmations which tells what kind of person you wish to be. Those who don't believe with me, I'll tell you an idea. Write some positive statements on some cards and read them several times a day for 2 to 3 weeks. Then you'll soon discover how powerful positive affirmations can be. The next chapter is asking smart. So this chapter, it will be useful for people who work as employees or staffs in some companies. So sometimes we used to feel like we are doing more, but we don't get what we do. So for them, this chapter is really useful. So Sonja Hamlin, she said like, ask for a raise, but do it smart. So asking smart, it begins with a honest assessment of yourself and your contributions to your company. First, list down the important tasks you handle as well as the special accomplishments. Then prepare a one-page memo outline documenting the significant points. This will help you prepare for your request. But if you cannot think of any noteworthy points about yourself and your work, then this is not the right time to ask for a raise. The next chapter is motivating others. So, deciding the best way to motivate others can often be difficult. So, instead of considering what would motivate you, concentrate on the other person. So, it will help you motivate them well. So, I would like to conclude my review by a quote. Keeping together is progress, working together is success. Thank you.
I'm Akshaya of grade 3A. Here I am reviewing a book, The Witches by Roald Dahl. A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies, but the man who never reads lives only one. Here I am reviewing a book that made me feel the situation and live the experience. The Witches by Roald Dahl. The genre of this book was dark fantasy. It was published by Jonathan Cape in 1983 and illustrated by Quentin Blake. The author Roald Dahl was inspired an ace fighter pilot, a chocolate historian, and a medical inventor. He was also the author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Matilda, the BFG, and Treasury of Original Evergreen and beloved children's books. He remains for the world's #1 storyteller. His writing style involves a great deal of humor to engage his readers. His humor and sarcasm appeal to intended audience as children love reading funny stories with nonsense words and absurd behavior. He normally writes from a children's perspective. One that children can familiarize themselves with. The book has 201 pages. In this novel, the little orphan boy, that is the narrator, lives with his Norwegian grandmother who tells him scary facts about witches. It's a good thing she knows these things because the boy is prepared to protect himself. The first time he encounters one, grandmother and grandson are informed that his parents would require that they live in England. So they are both loath to leave Norway. They move to England and the boy attends the school there. They plan to return Norway during his summer holidays. However, grandmama becomes ill and her doctor insists that they not travel until she's recovered. They choose a seaside hotel in England for their vacation instead. And then the boy happens upon a sinister meeting of witches. He listens in and is alarmed to hear witches plot against all the children in the country. The help from grandmother, the little boy finds a way to evade the witches and stop their nefarious plans. Here, the narrator is an 8-year-old boy. The book has been adapted into a movie, The Witches, directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Anne Hathaway, Octavia Spencer, Stanley Tucci. It was released in 2020. The most scariest character is the Grand High Witch, Lord of all the witches. She had a scary face. It looked as though it had been pickled in vinegar. It seemed quite literal to be rotting away at the edges and in the middle of her face, around the mouth and cheek. realized that she did something funny with the letter R. She would roll it round and round her mouth like a hot pork crackling before spitting it out. There's also a fun fact that I learned from this book. A real witch has big nose holes and amazing powers of smell. But what do you think we smell of to the witches? We won't smell like raspberries and cream. We give off stink waste and smell like dogs' droppings when we are clean. But you haven't washed for a week and your skin is all covered over with dirt. Then quite obviously the stink waves cannot come oozing out. So the dirtier you are, the less you smell to the witches. If I had told this to my mom, all I would get is a hard lecture and 2 slaps. Please don't try this at your home. My favorite characters from this book was the grandmama, an 86-year-old chubby Norwegian lady with a walking stick who smokes cigars and tells witch stories. Let's face it, it's all just about the coolest grandma on the planet. This entertaining novel is full of surprises for young readers, though some are pretty scary. As in so many of his books, Dog creates a fantastic world in which an innocent child sees right and wrong and solves problems more effectively than many adults. But his witches aren't just mean and scary, they are uniquely weird. A real witch looks exactly like an ordinary woman. They have claws instead of fingernails, bad heads, square feet that has no toes, and long nose and large nostrils. They have eyes with pupils that changes color and blue spit. Fortunately, the witch's creepiness is counterbalanced by the warm, charming relationship between the young boy and the cigar-smoking grandmama. They make great teams. Doll's message is not all the women are disturbed and inherently untrustworthy, but that some people can appear other than they are. It is a message that he has used stereotype, humor, and hyperbole to convey. A message that demands a second glance at things that seem self-evident. I rate this book for 4 stars on a scale of 5. I recommend this book to people those who are thrilled of getting a little scared. Thank you.
I am Charan from grade 9B. The title of the book which I am going to review is Swami Ram Tirtha. Swami Ram Tirtha is one of those few spiritual messengers whose knowledge was not gleaned from old scripture. The author of this book is Vinod Tiwari. Vinod Tiwari is an energetical, pleasing personality, an excellent communicator, an influencer, and a strategic thinker. He is endowed with splendid interpersonal skills and has been referred to as the magician of word. It was published by Monos Publications in the year 2005. It was first written in Hindi, then translated into English by IGNB. Dharapuram was born on 22nd October 1873. Was the third child for Hirananda and Iyalayi. He had an elder brother and a sister. By birth itself, Dharapuram suffered from one or two diseases. He had some malfunctionings in the immune system, but later corrected naturally. When he was at the age of 1, his mother died due to illness. Then he was taken care by his father's sister, Dharamkaur. Dharamkaur was a religious woman. She often goes to temple with Dharapuram. And sometimes Dharapuram would cry for going to temple. Nowadays, children cry for ice cream, chocolates, but the one who cries for going to temple is something unusual. In school, he was teacher's delight. He was punctual, obedient, fast learner, and his good memory retained whatever he was taught. The school had a rule that after every annual examination, each student should pay 2 rupees to the headmaster. All the other boys paid 2 rupees except Dharapuram. He had no money. In fact, money was not given by his family. He felt ashamed, embarrassed. He was fighting hard to hold his tears. In home, he demanded his father to give him 2 rupees. But his father said no. He was keep on requesting for 2 rupees. But his father said no. He was asking and asking. So his father got angry, scolded him harsh and slapped him a couple of times. For higher studies, Dharapuram walked 20 kilometers every day. So his father arranged a place where his friend lived. His friend's name was Danyaram Bhagat. Danyaram Bhagat was everyday practice worship with great devotion and regularity. So Dharapuram accepted him as his guru. He took admission in a Lagur college and rented a room. He wrote 2 letters a week, and in a time period of 12 years, his guru received 1,100 letters from him. His room was full of discomfort. The wall had big holes, the roofs were cracked, but he liked that room because it was very quiet. He was brilliant in his studies, so some students got tutored from him. With that money, he managed his needs. His favorite subject is mathematics. He loved maths. He was interested in solving mathematics. One day, when his math teacher fell ill, his math teacher decided to go to hometown for treatment. His math teacher said to the principal that Tirtharam can do my job. The principal accepted and made Tirtharam as a math teacher. When the students saw their friend as a math teacher, they said all those problems, difficulties they faced in maths. The Tirtharam cleared it. In the result of the annual examination, those students done well in maths compared to other subjects. Now, Tirtharam was going more and more into religion, spiritualism, knowledge, God. And in 1897, he met Swami Vivekananda in Punjab. He arranged many discourses and meetings for Swami Vivekananda. And during the summer of 1899, he set on pilgrimage to Amarnath cave. And he decided to renounce everything and go to Himalayas for introspection and meditation. According to the Tirtha sect, he reversed his name as Ram Tirtha, from Tirthram to Ram Tirtha. His knowledge now has been reduced to only 3 letters, G-O-D, God. The rest of the other 23 letters have no meaning to him. Swami Ram Tirtha went to America and Japan to represent Hindu religion. People were inspired about his thoughts and spiritual knowledge. At last, he went to Haridwar to visit a memorial sage of Vaishya.